In Top Gun: Maverick, the breathless, gravity and logic-defying Top Gun sequel that somehow makes all the sense in the world despite landing more than 3 decades after the late Tony Scott's original, an admiral refers to Tom Cruise's Navy aviator Pete Mitchell calls sign Maverick as the fastest man alive. It's a chuckle-inducing scene that recalls one in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, when Alec Baldwin's high-ranking Alan Hunley deems Cruise as Ethan Hunt, the living manifestation of destiny. In neither of these instances is Cruise's co-stars exclusively referring to his make-believe screen personas. They are also, or rather, primarily talking about the ongoing legacy of Cruise the actor himself. Verity be told, our intrepid and ever-handsome action idol earns both appraisals with a generous side of applause, being one of the precious remnants of bona fide movie superstardom of history, a sluggishly abating they don't make him life they used to the notion of eternity these days. Indeed, Cruise's harmonious commitment to Hollywood showmanship and with the insane situations of physical craft he continually puts on the table by averring to do his numbers, I would argue, deserves the same position of highbrow respect generally reserved for the complete system feather similar as Daniel Day-Lewis. Indeed, if you ever overlook the fact that Voyage is one of our most blessed and pretty dramatic and uproarious actors with the likes of Born on the 4th of July, Magnolia, Tropic Thunder, and Collateral under his belt, you'll no way forget why you show up to a Tom Cruise movie, thanks in large part to his forenamed enduring fidelity. How numerous other managed names and faces can claim to guarantee a singular movie event these days and deliver each time, without exceptions? In that regard, you'll be right at home with Top Gun: Maverick. Director Joseph Kosinski's facetious adrenaline supported that allows its commanding patron to be exactly what he is, a star, while upping the emotional and dramatic stakes of its precursor with a healthy, but not overdone cure of nostalgia. After a title card that explains what Top Gun is, the identical burn that introduced us to the world of creme de la creme Navy pilots in 1986, we find counterculturist in a pirate on the circumferences of the US Navy, working as a lion-hearted test airman against the familiar background of Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. You won't be surprised that soon enough, he gets called on a one-last-job type of charge as a schoolteacher to a group of recent Top Gun graduates. Their assignment is just as obscure and politically ditz as it was in the first movie. There's an unnamed adversary, let's call it Russia because it's presumably Russia, some targets that need to be destroyed, a flight plan that sounds nuts, and a scheme that will bear all successful Top Gun recruits to fly at the dangerously low mound. But can it be done? It's a long shot if the details of the operation explained to the fly campaigners in a rather can't-be-done style evocative of Mission Impossible are any suggestion. But you'll be surprised that further charming than the prospect of the Bongoose charge then's the moral drama that scribes Aaron Kruger, Eric Warren Singer, and Christopher McQuarrie spin from a story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks. For starters, the group of implicit rookies included Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, Miles Teller, atrocious, the son of the dearly departed Goose, whose accidental death still haunts Maverick as much as it does the rest of us. And if Rooster's accessible nausea of him wasn't enough, despite Maverick's defensive instincts towards him, there are disbelievers of Maverick's credentials. John Hamm's Cyclone, for a case, can't understand why Maverick's four-turned-friend Iceman, Val Kilmer, returning with the tutor of a power, insists on him as the schoolteacher of the charge. Further complicating the matters is Maverick's on and off romance with Penny Benjamin, a bewitching Jennifer Connelly, a new character that was prominently name-checked in the original movie, as some will recall. What entrapped through which one is tasked to defend their nation and celebrate a certain brand of American pride. In a different package, all the bravado, chauvinism and proud fist-shaking seen in Top Gun: Maverick could have been frame unendurable. But fortunately Kosinski, who's underseen and uncredited, only the brave will hopefully find alternate life, now seems to understand exactly what kind of movie he's asked to navigate. In his hands, the tone of counter In some sense, what this movie takes most seriously are generalities like fellowship, fidelity, love, and okay, bromance. Everything additional that surrounds those sundries like nationalistic egoism feels like sportful winks and embellishments towards fashioning an old Academy action movie. And because this mode is easily participated by the wholeness of the cast, from a memorable Ed Harris that begs for a further screen time to the always great Glenn Powell as the alluringly foolhardy headsman, Greg Tarzan Davis as Coyote, Jay Ellis as Vengeance, Danny Ramirez as Fanboy, Monica Barbaro as Phoenix, and Louise Pullman as Barb. Top Gun Maverick runs completely on its immersing on-screen harmony at times. For substantiation, look no further than the violent, fiery chemistry between Connolly and Cruise throughout its authentically sexy stuff and, in a nostalgic nod to the original, a rather voluptuous sand football sequence, shot with sanguine tinges and suggestive mirth by Claudia Miranda. Still, the action sequences, all the low-altitude breakouts, airborne confrontations as well as a voyage on a motorcycle slick in his original Top Gun leather jacket are likewise the stirring stars of Maverick, frequently accompanied by Harold Faltermeyer's celebratory original score, backed by cues from Hans Zimmer and Lauren Bell. Reportedly, all the flying scenes, a brace of which are pure hell yeah moments for the voyage, were shot in factual U.S. Navy F-18s, for which the cast had to be trained during a mind-boggling process. The authentic work that went into every frame freehandedly shows, as the spurts cut through the atmosphere and brush their target soils in close lice movements, all coherently edited by Eddie Hamilton. The sensation they induce feels miraculous and good of the biggest screen bone can conceivably find. Inversely good of that big screen is the emotional strokes of counterculturists that pack an unanticipated punch. Sure, you might be prepared for an alternate Sky Cotillion with Maverick, but maybe not one that might bear a towel or two in its final stretch.